It's funny that when you're a kid, and the teachers ask you like, okay, what do you want to be when you grow up? All the kids, have no limitations in what they want to do, or if they say something, it's something that they find really enjoying. The typical answers like astronaut, like a professional sports player or a superstar or something like that. And I think it's very, it's kind of a shame, but at the same time, of course, you get realistic. You get realistic as you grow up and you see how the world actually works because you're very naive when you're a child. But I think more and more now in my life, I notice that the things that mattered to me when I was a kid, those are the things that I should be focusing on more now at this age also. And you can't really let that go. For example, the things that you were drawn to a lot when you were a kid, you should kind of try to explore them, try to remember them. Like, okay, what that weird thing, like a weird way when you maybe decorated your room in some way, or like the clothes that you wore, or like the strange thing that you did, not like going out and playing with your friends, or like that could also be a thing. Like, what memories do you have? Like, this was the day where I had so much fun that we did this weird game, or when I was alone, what was I playing? Like with my action figures, or like with my cars, or with my Legos. Like, what did I imagine? What did I see in my mind? And kind of draw inspiration from that. I think you will find a lot of fulfillment in that. And what I want to say about that is that I see in my life now where when you grow older, you kind of lose sight of that. You kind of, the feeling of like, okay, I have to be grown up, I have to be more realistic, takes over. And I don't know, I just feel like right now, I'm 22 years old, I kind of feel right now that either I will do this, like either I will have a life, when I'm done studying, when I'm established, But even now, I can't even think like, okay, when I'm at that stage, like the stage that I'm at right now, the younger me would be very amazed at like where I'm at right now. I think my life right now is very amazing, but I'm talking about when I'm about to like be 30, if I live if I work in a cubicle, and I have like a really dead-end job, everyone say this, but for me, I just can't imagine that. I really can't imagine that. And I think that's why I'm making this video, because if I, in 8 years or in 10 years, look back on this and I work in some kind of cubicle, like, for me right now, there's just no way. There's no way that I have this, this scary life of, work, home, like how I rationalize it right now is like, either I do what I want, either I do what I want in life, I make money the way that I want to make money, I create the things that I want to create with, of course, some work is not going to be the work that you want to do, but you probably understand what I mean. If I don't do that, and I have to work, a job that I hate, just to be able to, pay my rent or pay my food, I will save up to a one-way ticket to Asia, and I will be homeless. I will live on the streets, and I will rather just like eat some fruit, just be on the beach, just because I think in the West, in Europe, there's a certain type of game that's different to a lot of other places, even a lot of other places in Europe. But here in the West, it's like you dominate the game if you have a lot of money, if you work really hard, and that's how you win the game. That's how you win in this like capitalistic part of Europe, where you need to have like absurd amount of money to the point where you actually feel free. That's like you either have the big amount, or you have a very low amount and you have like no responsibilities. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I don't like, I have my apartment, I have a couple of my responsibilities, but I don't have children or families that kind of like rely on me. I still have a lot of freedom, and I'm a student. I have a lot of freedom. I can still do what I want to do. I earn money the way I want to earn money. I can choose if I want to be in school or not. Like I have a lot of freedom. I think I have more freedom than a lot of people like in the middle that are working, the middle class that are working, coming home exhausted, going up again, working. But in other parts of the world, which I have yet to discover, actually, I haven't been around like a lot of different parts of the world. I think the rules there are different. Like being homeless in Germany or Sweden in the freezing winter is different than being homeless in maybe Thailand. I just can't. I just woke up today and I wanted to make this video because I thought about this, making something that I can look back on, like far away, like 8 years forward from this moment. I can look back and analyze like how things went. For me, it's so unrealistic. And I think if you really think of yourself as something very highly when you're a kid, that kind of delusion, I really think you need to cherish that. You need, if you still have this in your 20s, you need to actually be very protective of it, because people will try to like convince you like that it's not realistic. Okay, how will you do with this, with this, with this? Even when making this video, like thoughts in my mind came up like, okay, but what if I have a family? What if I, you know, like have my wife, have kids? Should I just move to Thailand without them and like live off, you know, fruits and some meat and lay on the beach and like, you know, do nothing? Like, that's kind of selfish, you know. And those thoughts started coming in my head, but I still think like the delusion that you are free, that you can't just say like fuck off and you just go somewhere, you know, like, and that's your last resort, and your best resort is like your plan A is that you will do whatever you want to do. That crazy delusion, even if it's not like logical, you need to somehow hold on to that, because I see so many people growing up and like the world scares them, so the dreams or like the naive part of them, the child of them, kind of dies, you know, it dies away, and they conform to like the structures that, okay, now I'm young, now it's time for me to slave away, you know, I have to trade my time, give away like my best years, my best hours, my best days, you know, to some other job, just, you know. And I still respect the working man. I respect the working man, because I think they're still gonna have a really good life, but I just don't think it's for me. And it's very naive to say that. I really hear my own words when I say that, because I try to be logical as well, but I just don't see myself conforming in that way. I really don't. Either I become the best at what I'm doing, or I'm moving to Thailand where I can actually be like a monkey. I don't have to, you know, I don't have to, you know, conform to this, like, to money, to society, like to this societal, you know, structures that are in the West. I can still have a very beautiful and healthy life, because imagine how much people are stressing, even if they have their bills paid, even if they have their groceries paid, like even if they have kids and families, but they have to work every day. If they miss work, they lose it all. Imagine that stress, you just feel trapped. Versus if you just wake up on the beach, you know, you, and of course it comes with a lot of problems with that too, but at least you have your freedom, you know, in a warm country where you can just walk around, you know, you can do some jobs here and there, but you have your freedom, you know. So this is just purely a message to myself that if you see yourself stuck in some job or some environment that you hate, just book a, you know, one-way ticket to, I don't know, somewhere in Asia, some warm country, some warm island or something, and just rather that you live there, you know, and you travel. I notice now a lot of like thoughts come in my head, but okay, like family, okay, and then you have responsibilities as a man. You can't just flee, you can't just do this. But I don't know. This is the thought that came up to me in my head, and I guess this is meant for me to watch, you know, in 10 years' time. I just think like, when I try to imagine like the most successful people that I look up to, I think they had this thoughts about them even when they were, you know, children. Like, okay, I'm gonna be the best in this, I'm gonna like work with this, and then when you reach like, okay, 18, 19, 20 years old, you kind of kill that part of you. Like, no, that's not realistic. No, that doesn't work. And then you conform, you know. But if you just hold on to that child version of you that doesn't really care about the rules, you know. So yeah, what I was saying was, if you just hold on to that, you know, naive part of yourself that really doesn't play by the rules, not in a dirty way, but like you just don't conform that easily. You are more, I feel like when you're a child, you're more like logical in some approaches. Not all of them, of course, but you take things as for what they are. You're more like, your response is more natural to a lot of things. And I just think that if you have this mindset, you are very naive, you will find yourself to be very, like, way more happy, you know? Because people will try to like put you down in the form of like, yeah, but you need to work, you need to have a job, you need to have this bullshit education that you maybe don't even want to do. There's nothing scary, there's nothing wrong with just like saying no to that, you know? Even if it's your family, because at the end of the day, it's still your life. It's still your life, and we're living in this cage where, not cage, but it kind of is, you know, with these rules that just people made up, you know, the society that we live in. If you're watching this, like, and you live in a, you know, society that was made up by someone, that was made up by a couple of, you know, some animals. It's just like, okay, we have this money, you can buy stuff from this, like, it's all made up. So of course, if you don't play by the rules, by those rules, it will be harder, but in a way also, it will liberate you. It will very, very much do that. And then again, I don't want you to think that I'm just gonna, fuck off to like Thailand or something and live on the beach. No, I will try my hardest. But if I know that, okay, I will not succeed in like the West, where I have to have a lot of money in order to, succeed, because that's the reality of it. If you don't have a lot of money, or rather your freedom, then it's a tough place to live in. Then I will move. And yeah, I noticed I don't really have a red thread in this talk. I just wanted to make this for myself. Yeah, I just wanted to make this for myself, just to reflect back on, and kind of, I think when you speak out words, into your world, or especially if you document them or write them down somehow, or like this in video form, you kind of store them deeper in your mind, in your subconscious. And I noticed with myself, I really like the person I'm becoming and the person that I am, because I kind of, somehow I always find a way to live by my own rules in a sort of way. Because this is also a very important point that I notice when people, have this like belief, like, yes, I'm the best, I'm gonna do this, they think very highly of themselves in a very childish, naive, good way. When you reach a couple of like older years, like when you're 20, 21, 22, I think there's three things that can happen. One is that you continue believing that you're the best, that you're gonna achieve everything, and I think that's kind of the best thing you can be. But there's two, like when you take that path, there's actually two more crossways, and that is either if you kind of like get high off your own fumes, you hype yourself up but you don't do any work. I think that's also going to be very common in the future, where a lot of people like, yes, I will do this, like think very highly of themselves, do the first thing right, but they don't back it up with the right actions. Then they will also be very, very stressed and have a tough life, like in a negative way. Versus like the guy that like says these things, but realize like, okay, if I'm actually gonna succeed with these things that I'm saying, that like, okay, become an astronaut and a football player at the same time, then you have to back it up with work. You have to mix the best worlds of being like a child and an adult. You have to mix those two, like the delusional self-belief with the logical like steps. You can't just believe that you're like a child, that you just wake up one day and you have everything. You have to be logical about the steps also. And the third way is that you kill your own dreams. You maybe start a job and you realize, okay, I have a lot of expenses. Let me just play it safe and work this job. And then next thing you know, you're like 35, you're pushing 40, and you don't know where to go. It's still not too late by then, but like imagine how much you wasted by then. And I don't know what happens, when you die. I have no idea. I have no idea what this life is all about, and I just know that I don't have any time to conform to any bullshit. I just know that I'm gonna explore, I'm gonna do what feels right inside of me. I don't care about the things that people tell me to do and they look miserable, I don't have time for that. I just don't. I'm 22 and I feel like my time is slipping away, that every day just like, fuck, I want to do so much, So yeah, it's gonna be really, really fun to, in 8 years I will react to this. It's gonna be very fun to watch. So yeah, I told myself even a year from now, either I study at the very prestigious school that I didn't get into before starting this school, like my plan A couple of years ago, that was very hard to get into. Either I can go into there or I travel for like half a year or a year, I take like 6 months, half a year to try to earn as much money as possible, and then I just live abroad, So I'm just really excited. I'm just really, really excited for the future, because I know that I won't fall into the trap. I'd rather just save up, a couple of thousands, and then I just live on the beach. So yeah, very, very strange video, but yeah, take care.